The Watchers' announcement to develop their own platform and asking people to pay for it is not an unfamiliar controversy that has happened before on the YouTube platform. The Fine Bros, now known as React, took a similar approach back in 2015 when they tried to shift their audience over to their platform and trademark the React video ideas. Of course, the React channel was met with huge backlash and the entire YouTube community against them, and this has led them to develop a really bad reputation for themselves. But with the sudden interest of channels like The Watcher to develop their own platform, it brings up a lot of questions to why they are doing this. Did the Watchers not learn anything from the Fine Bros and made a career-ending mistake? Are the Watchers just money-hungry animals that just want to betray their audience? Well, it might be a lot more complex than you actually think it is. For every YouTube channel's downfall, there are two main reasons behind this, these being money and burnout. In the case of the Watchers, it entails both of these problems. If you watched the original announcement video or their apology video, money and burnout are the two biggest reasons why the Watchers wanted to create their own platform. So why is this such a big main problem when they had to bring it up in two different videos? Well, here is where it gets a little bit more complex and tricky to actually understand. When it comes to growing a YouTube channel, there are two factors that you do need to consider: how you can maintain viewership and the production costs. As the viewership for the channel increases, this increases the ad revenue you receive. Now, a great company, especially something like on YouTube, would take all of these profits and reinvest it into their production costs so they can improve the video quality. And this is something you can noticeably see with the Watchers videos. If you look at their older videos compared to their newer videos, the production quality has significantly increased. And this is the basic formula for a YouTube channel's growth. But as a company, it's a lot more important to maintain a healthy operating cash flow because it shows investors, advisors, and your own employees that your company is actually growing. However, what happens if your only revenue source is on YouTube and the viewership just starts declining? When a YouTube channel begins to stagnate in views, this means that the ad revenue will simultaneously stagnate as well. So what this means is that there's no extra profit that you can reinvest to improve production quality or cover any additional expenses. As a business, this is not good news at all. You always want to maintain a healthy operating cash flow so it sustains your growth. By having your main revenue source stagnate and even decline, your cost of production significantly increases. And as an entertainment business like The Watcher, there are a lot of expenses that you do need to consider. These costs may include the building rent for the studio, equipment costs, or even rental costs, employee salaries, travel costs, especially since the Watchers do travel a lot to different locations in the US, hotel fees, food and water expenses, utility costs, insurance, subscription service fees like Adobe, and one cost that not a lot of people consider, which is opportunity costs. All of these costs do add up to the 5 and 6 figures mark, and they really do eat away from your profits, especially if you have a company with over 25 employees. When a YouTube channel really does decline in their viewership, this is where it becomes a really big problem, because this would mean that you would have to cut out a lot of expenses, maybe fire some employees, or even the worst case scenario, reduce the production quality, which would cause a snowball effect to make the videos even worse. And the worst case scenario is that they would have to stop their YouTube channel altogether because the costs just overtake the profits. The Watchers creating their own subscription platform is a response to the potential stagnation of their own YouTube channel. And more importantly, this would ensure that they have an actual stable income for their own business. And this is what they've mentioned in their video. Now, with the second issue, burnout. Burnout is a recent issue a lot of YouTubers are experiencing nowadays. Over time, YouTube's policies have progressively gotten a lot more strict, and especially a lot less lenient on what can be shown on the YouTube platform. One of the biggest reasons why they wanted to make the subscription-based platform was because that they were catering to two different audiences. As mentioned by the Watchers, they were really restricted with the type of content that they can upload onto their own YouTube channels, since it has to meet ad-friendly requirements, while at the same time working in a really gray area with YouTube's policies when it comes to the type of content that they want to upload. As we all know, if a YouTube channel were to receive a strike, this is really bad news. This is because your YouTube channel is unable to collect ad revenue, and more importantly, your videos will start getting taken down. And this feeds into the problem that I mentioned earlier, which is the declining revenue. The majority of the Watchers videos really walk a fine line to what is really accepted on YouTube. If they really want to tell more compelling stories that really do break YouTube's policy, then creating their own subscription platform does definitely make a lot of sense. But it's one of the worst options they could have picked, you know, like there's so many different options, but I'll go through it later. I mentioned the Fine Bros earlier in the opening of this video because this is very similar to what the Watchers are doing right now. As I said before, the Fine Bros, who are now rebranded as the React channel, has been experiencing a decline in viewership. If you take a look at their channel, their current viewership is nowhere near close to what it was back then in 2015 to 2016. Sure, their controversy did play a significant part in their decline, but their current viewership has significantly reduced past the point of the damage that they've originally done. But why is the React channel experiencing such low viewership, especially with the fact that they have 20 million subscribers? Well, as I said before, money and burnout are the two main reasons again. With YouTube being really strict on the type of content that you can re-upload to their platform, for a channel that is about reacting to the content and re-uploading it, it walks a really fine line of what is acceptable on the YouTube platform. And it's so much harder for the React channel to really circumvent this policy. Back then, it was so much easier because YouTube was way more lenient on what the type of content that they can upload. And as you can see from the most popular videos, it was mostly re-upload content of people reacting to them. This has then led to a lot of restricted creativity to what they can actually do with their own YouTube channel, and thus producing half-assed videos on their channel that produce 20,000 views at most. Sure, this is still a lot of views. I mean, I wish I can hit 20,000 views consistently, but comparing back to their prime years, this is a far cry to what they were before. Maintaining at least 20,000 views per video is probably enough to cover all of the expenses that they need for the production. And with all the problems that I just mentioned, this leads into the biggest problem of decreasing ad revenue. With the Fine Bros channel or the React channel as being an example of stagnated and declining growth, the watchers were probably trying to avoid this disastrous event that could ruin their business. But their solution to charge people $60 annually for a subscription platform is the most money-hungry move I've ever seen on YouTube. Thank God in their apology video that they've addressed all of this and did offer a refund to those who did buy into the program. Even though their original solution was straight up terrible, there are other options that they could have picked that would have made the situation a lot better, and most importantly, address all of the problems that I've mentioned in this video. One of the most popular solutions that people have been talking about is to move to a platform like Nebula. This is because with a platform like Nebula, there's a lot of other creators that have been making content on there already. There have been a lot of videos and comments that are talking about why the new platform for the watchers is terrible. And the main reason is because there's no other creators that can use the platform. It's so easy to go on YouTube and watch all of your favorite creators on there. And why would I have to go to a different website to watch one of my other favorite creators? It's just really inconvenient. So if the watchers were to actually hop onto Nebula where there are other documentary or news related type of creators on there, this would give their viewers the option to look at other creators that are on that platform. By doing it this way, they wouldn't be jeopardizing their progress on YouTube and would maintain their loyal audience. And another big point with using a platform like Nebula is that it's a lot cheaper than what the subscription model is for the watchers. I mean, it's literally $30 cheaper. The other option that the watchers could have picked, which is the one they ended up choosing, is to stick with their YouTube platform and continue posting on there, but upload earlier videos to their watcher platform. This financially makes a lot more sense because they've already invested so much money into developing their own program. It would be a huge waste of money and a lot of problems that would be arising if they were to just dump it all and just move to a different platform like Nebula. The only downside is the existing distaste with the platform. With all the hatred and distrust from their viewers, it'll be really difficult to reconcile or amend any damages that were made. But as I said, this is the most cost-efficient option that the watchers could have picked, and I totally understand why they had to make the move with releasing an apology video and with the solution that they mentioned in the video that they said. And personally, I think they did handle it quite well. The watchers making the decision to create their own platform is not inherently wrong. In fact, there are a lot of other creators that are slowly moving off of the YouTube platform. With all the problems that I mentioned, being money and burnout, it's no wonder why these changes are being made. However, this is not an excuse to how the watchers handled their announcement video on their channel. There were 1,000 different ways they could have announced it on their YouTube channel, but they had to choose the one that gave them the worst possible outcome. It'll be hard to say if the apology video that they've recently uploaded amended any distrust with their viewers. The watchers have most likely lost thousands of their loyal viewers' trust and have put a huge distaste in those who just know their name, especially since the controversy has spread like wildfire on social media. In the coming years though, it would be a case to see if their decision to move away from the YouTube platform was to avoid a similar downfall like the Fine Bros channel, but only time will tell if the watchers can stay relevant.